Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And I am Mysca.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. As we said in this week's Mailbox video, some of the questions that you guys give us cannot be answered in such a short space of time. Some of the brilliant questions that you guys give us require a little bit more investigating and explaining. In this video we'll be covering two main topics of continuous debate from our comments, both of which regard how big Overwatch can be as a game. These questions were given to us by Stefan Gills and Gaming Merchant. The first part of this video will be discussing the overall player base size and compare Overwatch to other games. The second part covers the eSports scene and we'll be talking prize money, viewing figures, and we'll also touch a little bit on ranked mode.
Let's just dive straight into it. We'll be working with 4 other games in this video to compare, analyze and discuss. These games are Dota 2, CounterStrike Global Offensive, League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm. These are all relevant in their own way, but are mainly chosen because they are big games, both in terms of player base and esports. To put things in perspective, I'm going to list these in order of unique players monthly. League of Legends is number 1 with roughly 80 million players monthly. After that is Dota 2 with just over 12 million monthly uniques. Then comes Counter-Strike with around 10 million, and after that Heroes of the Storm, which have less than 8 million but could go all the way down to 2 million monthly players. Blizzard haven't released any stats on the Heroes of the Storm games and player base, so all we can go from is how big the esports scene for the game is and compare that to the amount of players in the Heroes of the Storm scene to the other big titles listed. Now remember, these are all just very approximate stats. Most publishers and developers don't really release numbers on this very often, so I'm working with old numbers and comparing to Steam Chart's website and articles that I've found lately.
So what exactly decides how big Overwatch can be as a game? Well, if we look at other games mentioned, they've grown in several different ways. CounterStrike has had a successful esports scene together with a huge community market system. Dota 2 got a big boost when the International kicked off the annual and biggest Dota 2 tournament, and as well as League, it has an in-game cosmetic system. On the subject of League, it also has a lot of content updates, and Riot put a lot of time and work into staying relevant on websites like Twitch, for example. And Heroes of the Storm have fans from other Blizzard IPs coming over to play as their favourite characters, enjoy the fantastic Blizzard cosmetics, and also have a fairly successful esports scene under their belt as well.
All of these ways of growing these games can be translated into growing Overwatch's player base. I'm no marketing expert, but Blizzard have done it in the past and can definitely look at other big titles in the industry to see what they've done right and hopefully do that even better. Regular content updates, big cosmetic sales, and in-game tournament spectating systems are clearly all successful ways of growing a game. I'm excited to see what Blizzard decide to do, but it's difficult to tell at the moment. The potential is definitely there, and I obviously hope for a successful launch and a lot of post-launch growth. There are definitely a lot of things that Blizzard can do in terms of growing the game together with its esports scene.
So let's look at the esports scene for the games earlier mentioned and how much prize money has been awarded to the players. Dota tops this list with almost $56 million US. After that is League with nearly $27 million. CS has a total of $10 million, and Heroes of the Storm are currently sitting at $2.5 million prize pool prize money. It's obviously not fair to say that $2.5 million isn't a lot of money here. It's also worth mentioning that Heroes of the Storm came out in mid-2015, whilst all the other games on the list have been around for a fair few years. Putting money towards the esports scene will obviously grow it, but how can Overwatch do it, and how can they do it successfully?
To start off, both Dota and Counter-Strike have very successful in-game spectator systems. These are used for tournaments and people can buy digital tickets to watch the matches live in the game client. Sometimes they even release cosmetics specific for certain tournaments and have a chunk of the profits from those go into the prize pool. This is something I would love to see in Overwatch. Blizzard have proven that they can create fantastic sets, cosmetics, card packs, you name it, for their other games, so having some awesome Overwatch cosmetics shouldn't be an issue for them. But apart from just investing money and have people crowdfund tournaments basically, how can Blizzard grow the esports scene?
Well, several of the esports giants have extremely successful ranked modes available to them. Players can play placement games to then receive an in-game rank and climb the global leaderboard towards the top. Many players come back to these games because of these modes, and Overwatch shouldn't really be any different. Not only does it improve the player base numbers, but people playing ranked can relate to the tournament since the same game rules apply and are used when picking characters, for example. Not having ranked mode in Overwatch on launch would be disappointing and most likely hurt the game in terms of competitive interest in it. Ranked play also kind of functions as a second progression system, so even if you've locked all cosmetics in the game, you still have a rank to work towards.
To recap a bit, the improvements and things Overwatch can do to grow the player base and esports scene a lot are following. Ranked mode on launch, an in-game store with cosmetics and tournament tickets for an in-game spectating system, and last but not least, regular content updates. These are all things that I hope to see when the game launches, and are also all factors that can keep the game alive and growing.
But what do you think? Where do you think Overwatch will place on the esports ranking? Do you think that they could challenge the likes of CSGO and Dota and maybe even League? Or do you feel that it may struggle to even reach the popularity of Heroes of the Storm? Do let us know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up. Generally cliche thing to say, but the likes do help us out a lot, and it's always interesting to hear what you guys are saying. If you enjoy Overwatch content, then be sure to subscribe for more of it, and until next time, take care, and we will see you then.